Good afternoon, everyone. We might get started on the Community Trainers BoF, so if you can take your seats. Unsure, but we're starting because people have to leave by 6:30. One of the people that are doing the talks has to leave early, so we're going to start on time. Yeah, Jeff. Don't you want to be a community trainer? So we'll get started. If you are watching remotely, hello. Tashi sends his apologies. There's been a clash with the schedule in regards to the NOG updates is at the same time, and he has to do some updates for the network operators group there. So what we're looking at focusing on for this is doing a quick update on the community trainers program, and then talking about the IPv6 course that's been released today to update the community trainers on that and hopefully gather some feedback. And then there's some workshop ideas that we want to do. But to start off with, I'm going to ask our communications team to come up and talk about the technical blog posts from the community trainer pool point of view. So if you're available to help with that, that would be good. So I'll ask Robbie to come up here. There's only one slide.
Oh, sweet as. Is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Sweet. I do. Is there? Thank you. Hello everyone online and here. For those online, it's also a packed room. So, my name's Robbie, for those who don't know me, and I am a part of the team that looks after the APNIC blog. So the APNIC blog has grown into a place where people in the community are encouraged to share their stories, that being challenges as well as success stories. And we're really interested in hearing from community trainers as well, being a part of the community, being out there talking to others in the community, as well as what you guys are doing in your own day-to-day jobs as well. So we're looking for best current practices, how-to guides, certain hacks or workarounds, anything to do with open source as well, and being able to create these blog posts on how-to blog posts, which you can use, not just you, but the whole of the training team, which includes all community trainers, can use and refer to in their workshops. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a selection there already that the training team and some of the community trainers here in the room as well have already contributed, which I'm thankful for, and anyone online as well who has contributed as well. Thank you for your help as well. But yeah, if you have any ideas, thinking about the people who you tend to also are training at your workshops, there are varying levels of knowledge there, and we tend to also go to a lot of economies where it is starting from scratch. So even if you think that some of this stuff is simple, it isn't simple to a lot of other people. And even though you think that there's already how-to guides online already, maybe or not they're the best or they're not the best how-to guides already. And you might have a better idea of how to communicate these better, particularly if that's how you already do it in your workshops. So yeah, hit us up. I mean, Robbie at apnic.net or the other trainers. Let us know if you have any story ideas, even story ideas in themselves, just story leads. And if you need help with writing, we're also here to help you with that. So we can work through Q&As, through email or Skype sessions, and we can give you services to make it all look polished. So use us to help you guys make training easier and to help the community. Thanks.
Thank you, Robbie. So in regards to blogs, it's a good idea after you attend any sort of training is to write and document your experience, because then by writing it down, you retain that information a lot better. And then we can then, on the upside, use that in our APNIC blogging environment. So it helps with that. So if you have any ideas, it'd be much appreciated to help for that. So now what we're going to do is talk about the Community Trainer Program and give an update about that. So when we have a look at the Community Trainer Program, can I actually walk around or do I need to have a mic? Is that working? Yep. So the Community Trainer Program, if you have a look here, we've got some of the statistics of where we've got community trainers at the moment. So we have 21 community trainers, and you can see that the majority of those trainers are in the South Asia area. So we've got Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Sri Lanka, Pakistan. So that's our largest majority of community trainers. In East Asia, we've got China, one, and Taiwan. And then Southeast, we've got Indonesia, Malaysia, and Philippines. And then in the Oceania, we've got Fiji, Tonga, and Vanuatu. And if you want to have a look at the community trainers that we have at the moment, you can click on that link and go to the profile of those different community trainers. Now, the idea of the community trainer program was to get operational experiences into the material that we deliver, the workshops that we deliver, as well as local knowledge. So the reason why APNIC's workshops are so useful to the community is because of the community trainers. We get that operational experience, the local knowledge, and we try to develop the content for that. So without community trainers, our workshops would not be successful. Also, at the moment, we've only got 3 full-time staff in the training team. So we can't be in all the communities delivering workshops with that many staff. So we need to rely on other people to help with that. So it's important for the program. To show you that though, this is what the training was that we did last year in 2019. So we had 39 workshops in 19 different economies. There was 21, that is, all of the community trainers were involved in some format for those workshops. And we even had some of those community trainers actually be the lead trainer. The lead trainer is basically in charge of the organisation, setting up the material or using the material that we give you from APNIC, but also being responsible for that. So no APNIC staff was actually present at the workshop. It was all community trainer led. Where those community trainers led the workshops were Pakistan, India, Papua New Guinea, and Malaysia. So in the back end, APNIC will set up the wiki page and give you the resources and help with the registrations and the booking of flights and so on. But the community trainers were the ones that hit the ground running and were delivering the content and giving feedback. So the program is successful, but as it is always the way, there's not enough time in the year and not enough resources to be able to deliver workshops to every economy in the Asia Pacific region. If we could increase the amount of people in the community trainer program, that would help delivering more workshops around the region. So what we are looking for, if you're interested in becoming a community trainer, is basically that you are operational. And as long as you've got some sort of varied background and experience and you can demonstrate that, we will help you in the community trainer program. So the idea is that, yes, you're operational, you've got knowledge. And from my experience, the way I got into training is that I worked on a major project and then it was interesting to some of the educational facilities, yet they had no experience on how to do it, so they asked me to deliver it from an operational point of view. And yes, it is nerve-wracking when you first stand up in front of people and start delivering information to them. But with some of the community trainers that I've seen in the past 12 months, as soon as they start talking about something they're passionate about, that they're working on and they enjoy, that comes through. The nerves fade away and they are able to present that content. If you're operational, it's like your day-to-day job. Some of the tasks I've had in the past has been the client interaction where you've got to talk about the solution you're proposing to the client, treat it like that. That's the idea, is that you're just sharing information. And in some cases, every workshop I've delivered with APNIC, I've always walked away learning from the attendees. They ask questions, you go, oh, I never thought about it, doing it that way. Yeah. And you can process it and you learn more details about the topic that you're delivering. So what you need to do if you are interested in becoming a community trainer is to go to the community trainer website. And I think if you go to that website there, you'll be able to apply for the role, and then there'll be an interview process for that. But when you start off in the community trainer program, you won't be left by yourself to do everything. We will try and help you and guide you through. One thing that we are wanting is diversity. The reason why we want diversity is to get, basically, not everyone has the same experiences. At the moment, if I was the only trainer in the APNIC workshops, I would give you a perspective from an Australian point of view, Australian operators' point of view, which has got no reality in some of the developing countries for the fact that in Australia, everything is going to be commercial. We hardly use open source because we want that support. In other countries, the licensing is too expensive to do it that way. So we want community trainers to give us that regional or that local knowledge. What is the most common tools that are used in that particular location? And you also have a different way of doing things. You've got different cultures, you've got different experiences, and are able to utilise that. If we all sat down, if you've got a group of Australians and sat them down in a room for a solution for designing a network, they're going to produce a completely different plan to someone that was in Pakistan for the same network design. If you gave them the same brief and said, design this network, you'd come up with different solutions depending on where you're located in the different economies. Okay? So the idea is that there is no, you should know this by now, in any network there is no right or wrong solution. There's a solution based on what you know, and there's a solution that could be optimal, and how much money you've got as well. So that's the idea. You give us a new perspective. We also want a wider talent pool. You all have different backgrounds. You have different ideas. You've had different experiences. You've got different education levels. You've got local language, local work experience. Ideally, that then filters through to help solve problems or to make innovative solutions. So for our workshops, we want to be able to update them, keep them up to date and work ready. So that way, when you attend a workshop, you can go back and apply that in your workforce or into your networks. If we stuck with the same technology, we'd be talking about routers that were last decade, last century, or last whenever. So if we were here and saw the keynote and they were showing photos from the 90s and then what they predict to be in the future, interesting. At the last community BoF, I talked about this future lab setup and repo. So I thought I'd give you an update about that as well. So what we were trying to achieve at the last community trainers BoF was to get an idea from the community trainers what would be useful in regards to setting up a lab environment. Because as it is, one of the harder things is, as a community trainer, if we ask you to go out and do a workshop, you would like to practice before the workshop. So what we were trying to do is to automate that, to make it easier for people to just basically connect to GitHub or some sort of location where you can download a whole heap of scripts and install the lab with a simple click or zero touch or something that would make it easier. So currently at the moment, I've created a GitHub account and started the repo, but I haven't put any code there yet. I've got a little script that will build Ubuntu 16.04 installation, whether it's desktop or with a server environment. The advantages of that is that you answer a couple of questions and then it will create an ISO image that you can then just copy onto a USB or CD, or if anyone uses a CD, and that will install a base installation. What I'm currently doing is now working on some scripts to be able to automate the installation based on what workshop you're having to deliver. So the idea, hopefully that will work. With my schedule for the next couple of months, hopefully I can spend more time on doing that. The Academy has also launched a new course called IPv6 Address Planning. If you subscribe to the Community Trainers mailing list, and it's mainly for the community trainers that this is focusing on, you would have seen an email about that and asking you to give feedback and have a look at that address. Since the last Community Trainers BoF, there's been 2 new virtual labs, so anyone can access these resources and have a look at those and add feedback. So if you can get a chance to do that, that would be good. So the 2 new virtual labs is the route origin validation and DNSSEC, and any feedback would be appreciated. In the next 12 months, we hope to start developing some new content. Now, I might end up sending an email to the community trainers group, but the content that we're looking at doing is, we've been talking about this for a while, but network management and monitoring. We need some help from the operational community to find out what tools are you using, what would be best suited for a workshop environment to be able to share with the different economies and come up with some sort of example use cases and then develop the course around that. So create a virtual environment that we can use to then set up different types of traffic flows and monitor and break the network and then find what happens and then fix the network. So if we can get some feedback from the different community trainers, so I'll follow up with an email with this. I did send an email to the community trainers list end of last year asking for some customer equipment specifications, what equipment is commonly used throughout the region. Unfortunately, I only got 5 devices told to me, and they all said they supported IPv6. But the idea is that we want to put that into a workshop for our last mile deployment. The reason for that, in our IPv6 workshops, a lot of people say, we've done our core, it's the last mile that is the issue. So we want to help with some sort of content with that. So again, I'll follow up with the community trainers about that, finding out if there's any other sort of customer equipment out there. Because the idea was that we're going to do a testing of all that equipment, give feedback to the vendors and see if they will update their stack to support IPv6 if they needed to. So that's it. It was a quick update. We weren't planning to do a very big update at this point. Are there any questions?
Hi, Warren. Is this working? Yeah.
Yep.
Anurag here. A couple of points. You mentioned of script for installing the system. As a parallel project, you might consider at this point of time to also have a setup where you can set up a lab in cloud. The reason I say that is because maybe 5 years ago that might not be possible, considering not so reliable connectivity and so on. But if you see right now, connectivity in large number of countries is getting reasonably reliable enough that you can run lab out of that. It may not be true for all, but for a lot of places where workshops are happening, connectivity might be good enough. And it may make sense to have something like, say, an Ansible playbook or a Salt Play where you already define any of the popular cloud providers to spin up a VM, get the environment ready and use it, and just throw it away after you're done with the workshop.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I actually have a PowerShell script that will do it for the Microsoft environment, so Azure, where it will spin up a Ubuntu machine, build GNS3 and go from there. So that's a very simple one that I used for Chiang Mai actually, when we were looking at the RPKI deployathon, but they wanted the localized version.
If you can share the Power script, I can help you in translating it to an Ansible playbook. Then you can have.
I need to update my skills to do Ansible and Salt, whereas the thing with that is the limitation on people's skill levels. So I was trying to just create scripts that
is fine, but remember this is more around for trainers and APNIC to create environment. You don't need end users to be doing it. It's just.
This is not only aimed at end users though. I want to make it public to anyone, and then we can fork it, and basically the region or the community can build this script. And the advantage of using Ansible, like I want to do something like infrastructure as a code. So the idea is that you basically throw everything, you can delete everything, recreate it, and it doesn't matter, it's a script of some sort, and then we can add unit testing to it. So that way, if you modify a script, you can then check it against your unit testing scripts and stuff.
And then it won't be just with Azure. You can just have pretty much all the popular cloud providers, whichever is available. So I may have in country one a region of say Amazon, in country two a DigitalOcean nearby. Just use whatever is nearby.
Yeah, my previous background was a lot of Azure, and we haven't done much AWS, so I do need to upskill in that. Okay.
And other quick point was, I don't know if this has come up in the feedback which is taken after the workshop, but quite a few people over the time have told me about the DNS. They expect DNS-based workshops. I am aware of DNS being covered in the workshop, but it's mostly specifically by Champika from ICANN, not but as an APNIC course. So do you think in future there would be a course on running DNS recursors, authoritative DNS, and reverse DNS by APNIC?
So we do have that. Cheryl, or Shane as people know, has that course. I haven't really got access, but there is a virtual lab now on DNSSEC. And there's also, I think, a course on DNSSEC.
Okay.
So you can run through and build your own environment in the academy. But there is a DNSSEC course that is run by APNIC, not just Champika.
Okay, yeah. Champika does a great job, by the way.
So you're looking at that for btNOG? Okay, so talk to Shane or Cheryl or send me an email and I can put you in contact. Any questions online? You're like me. I need.
Yeah, my experience delivering IPv6 training here in the Pacific Island region is that most people in the island are now to IPv6. Participants who attend IPv6 training know nothing about IPv6 and even IPv4. Could we have a very simple version of IPv6 training for places where V6 is a new thing who will be exposed for the first time to V6?
So I think the question was that will there be a simplified version of IPv6 training? So we can do customised workshop training, but it depends on who the host is, and based on that we could do something. in regards to customised training. So I have delivered simplified versions of IPv6 training in Papua New Guinea. That was only as part of a network security course, so we can do that as if you need to. Maybe have a look at the online courses to start off with. There's an IPv6 address planning course, and there's also a IPv6 webinar / course. Yeah, fundamentals course. So that will give you some information there. There's also virtual labs that will show you that as well. So what we would need, if you can ask that person, is it in regards to addressing that they want the basics, or is it in regards to setup and configuration? Yeah.
Setup and configuration.
Okay, so in regards to setup and configuration, the virtual labs might be more beneficial, but yes, we could modify our training.
There still needs to be an IPv6 basic course.
A basic, not the fundamentals? Okay. If you want to send me an email directly, that might be a better way to negotiate this, see what sort of training that you need. Yeah. Any other questions? Well, thank you for attending.